Alright, good morning everybody. More SPY. Right now I'm just looking at the pre-market and looking for some kind of trend. The range is kind of weird. I'm thinking that's kind of the deal right now. Now we got something like that. I definitely don't think it's this with those peaks like that. I don't think so. I think we're gonna play this. We just saw that hit to the bottom here. Let's see if we can get a candle to open and close below this trend line and we can take a trade. So right now, just waiting for this green candle to hit the close. And as long as it closes beneath the trend line, I'll get in the trade. It's a good way to wait for the retest, because a lot of the times stocks will break through the trend line in this initial trade, on that initial red candle there, and then you'll see a candle come back up to it, and if it holds and it's not breaking above it, that's a great trade. So just waiting for it to close. All right, I'm gonna get in here. And this is another like B trade, you know. I mean, it's nothing too great. I mean, it could possibly be an A trade. I'm not sure, but it just depends how much it continues down and how strong the break is. I'm thinking it's B because we didn't really see too much consolidation before a breakdown. So I'm really thinking this is somewhere between like a B or something. So I usually like to, take my percentage, take my profit, depending on what kind of trade it is. And I'm actually going to get out there. And we'll roll with that. Easy little bit of money there. Now, if let's sorry, I'm actually trading on another device right now. So if we look on if we look at this, what would have been better and made an A trade? So here's why it was just a B trade. It didn't really consolidate around the trend line much. If it would have consolidated and then broke, the longer it would have waited at this trend line and then broke, the more violent the move probably would have been. So right now, I can almost expect it's gonna bounce up back to the trend line a bit, and we could even be looking for calls today. But right now, it just seems as if it's overshot and it's gonna bounce back up. And I don't think it's gonna continue sharply down like this. I think that's too unlikely. I think we have a better chance of it ranging lower here and it just ranging sideways like this. And then we get an A setup, which is a longer time frame setup, and that'll break to the downside if we're going to be continuing in puts. But right now, that's just what this trade was just to be set up. Um, I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's not gonna keep shooting down. Nothing just keeps shooting down. Um, Things can shoot down pretty low though if they consolidate for a long time. They can get a pretty nice break. So yeah, there looked like there was definitely still gas in the tank here. Um, Definitely left some on the table, but I mean, we gotta trade your plan and plan your trade, and definitely for me a B setup. Usually in the morning time is it's what it is. I mean, you don't really see too much consolidation in the morning time, and if you do, I mean that's amazing because usually it's all rangy, pretty wide range in the morning. So let's see. Yeah, so there's some kind of rejection here. I kind of expect it going to come back up to the trend line. So we actually got out at a good price. It was this candle here. We got out about there, somewhere here, and so it was a good trade, you know. Why not? And we'll just keep looking for setups for right now. I'm sure we'll have, another B trade, or a C trade would have been that bounce there. Um, I definitely want to have very low size in that bounce because of the possibility of you're trying to reverse the stock, you know, um, especially on volume that isn't decreasing. You're trying to reverse the stock, so it's kind of a C trade. And I think chances are it'll kind of range in this area before popping up, but that'd be identified as a C trade. And A trades, you want to have big size. Definitely big size. It's very clear it's gonna break down or break up, break out. Very clear. You want to have big size, and the move is gonna be big. You know, so when it's big, you want to be big. Just because all the probabilities are there. People think, oh, you don't want to have small size if it's gonna be a really good move. I don't think so. I think you want to have small size if it's going to be a small move. Because think if you have big size in a small move, you know, that's not a very good probability of a move. So you could end up taking a loss if it doesn't go that way, right? So it's good to have big size and a big probability move. That way you don't end up taking a small loss. You end up taking a huge win. A lot of people think the opposite. They think they got a micro scalp with max size, because that's what I used to do. Micro scalp with max size all day. And no, I definitely don't think that's the great way to trade anymore. Huh. I'm thinking for sure. Watch the trade, see what kind of setup it is, and size accordingly. I'm definitely thinking that. So still no setup yet. Let's see, if it continues lower, I can kind of see a setup where it does something like this. That's if it continues lower, though, which chances are it might. We could actually see a break here. So or sorry, we could actually see it keep flushing lower if that's the chance. But I took my trade in the setup, so I'm not gonna trade two times in one setup. It's. I think that's a bad habit. I think it's better to trade once and realize the whole gain. Either you realize the entire setup and you trade the setup perfectly, or you don't trade it perfectly and you wait for the next setup. As I think if you don't do that, I think that you'll spend a lot of time second guessing and doubting yourself. It's good to have a good entry in the setup, and if you get stopped out, you wait for the next one. You know. because you shouldn't get stopped out in your setup. Just think of this. I waited for the open and the close beneath this trend line. This one here, not this one. Open and close beneath this trend line. So that way it could validate that if we did get the rebound up to the trend line, it wasn't going to be breaking it. So we saw this small rebound up, waited for the close, took the trade here, and stop loss is always going to be above the trend line. Always. If it retests the trend line and goes higher and closes above, that's the stop loss. Let's put my line back. So we could do calls here, but I'm gonna wait for the open and the close above as well. You don't want to just wait for it to go above it, otherwise it would have already been in, right? Right there, because it went above my trend line. I consider that that's a false break, you know. You don't want to just wait for it to close above the trend line, because the next candle open, it'll just shoot right down through it. That's also a false break. You want it to open and close above the trend line or beneath it, depending on your position. So we just had increasing volume there. It almost looks like we're going to see it flush down because of that volume. Or that's actually a volume divergence. I lied. So that is bullish. Yeah, I'm like, why is it going green? And I look at it again. Yeah, it's a volume divergence. So I will consider that opening above the trend line. It opened at or above, so that's fine. That's fine. If it closes above here, we'll do that. Because really, that could just be my trend lines off. Like just a hair. So if it closes at or above, I'll call that. And let me switch over my mouse. I've got a Bluetooth mouse that lets me connect to multiple devices. So I could just leave this mouse here like this and just click on my mouse, and now I'm connected to my other device over here. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Cool. So wait for this candle to close, and then we're going to go for calls. And I think that's it. I'm not going to try and take too many B trades. We'll wait for another setup here before we take another trade. Or after this trade, right? We see the calls here. We might wait for an A setup or something. Or today could just be a B setup type of day. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm gonna wait for this candle to close and see what goes on here. As long as it closes above the trend line, we are good. Looks like it's kind of retesting it right now, which is good. So now we want to see if we can get the close of the candle. There we go. And I'm in there. See if we can get it pop up back to that other trend line up there. Looks like it wants to retest. Beautiful wick. That's a nice wick. See how high it wants to take it up. We going for new highs or what? I'm gonna try and get it all the way up to that other trend line there, but this is still a B trade, so I don't want to push it too much. I'm already at my profit target. I'd like to take it, but I think we still have a little bit of room, so I'm actually gonna continue with it. I'm just waiting here. Stop loss is still below that trend line. Um, having it close below the trend line, that'll be a stop loss. We just got an alert. USO. So oil must have just done something. Not looking good. It's taken longer than I expected, but that doesn't mean that it's not gonna work. It's just taking long. Probably should have taken that money there. Yeah, these candles are having a hard time going green right now. There we go. Starting to see some kind of action on these candles. That's a lot bigger spread than these previous ones. Let's see if it holds it. Because the trade is to take it up back up to that trend line. That's the trade. Here we go. Got some action here. Let's see how close we can get to that trend line. I'm thinking pretty close from that candle. go. Nice movement. Still seeing kind of rejection off those that 50% level off that previous candle, so that's good. Here we go. See how close we can get here. Mm, I want to sell the ask on the way up, but I'm kind of getting scared. I almost want to mark it out pretty soon here. But I want to see one more green candle go up and touch that trend line, and I think I'll get out there. It's not doing it yet. It's okay. Might get it here. Let's see if it wants to go up and touch that trend line. Getting pretty close. I think if it pops up to those highs again, I might hit the ask. So that way, if it does break, I get filled on the ask, and that's it. And it's pretty close to the trend line. There we go. I'm going to hit the ask there, see if we can get it. I think we got it. Yeah, we got it. Nice. Great trade. Yeah, that was a really good trade. All right. Well, that's probably going to be it for me. We got two pretty solid trades here. We got this break, and then we got the fade back up. And the reason why I wanted to hit the ask here is because I think it's actually going to break above it, and it might hold. So I didn't want to mark it out. I thought I might be cutting some off the table there. So hit the ask, and that's why I was really strict. I was like, no, I wanted to hit the trend line. I wanted to hit the trend line. I just had that premonition that it actually was gonna go past the trend line, which it is doing. So okay, pretty good, great trade. Thanks for watching. Yeah, that was a really good video. All right, peace out.